Hello and welcome to the Sewing Studio. Today is the last episode of our mystery Christmas block of the month. And the mystery is over. This is what it's going to look like when you've put it all together. So I'm going to show you how to put all your blocks together to create this. And this measures approximately 18 by 22 inches. And I've put a little bit of a border around mine in one of the backgrounds that I've already used elsewhere. Now you could put a border around yours in a different colour if you wanted to do that and if you wanted to make it bigger. But for today I'm going to show you how to put the blocks together to make this size. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a column with our blocks. So we're going to take the centre block first of all. So we're going to take our Christmas pudding, our Christmas tree and our holly, and we're going to join those together, and a 1/4 inch seam is used throughout this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to join my Christmas pudding to the top of the Christmas tree. Now you may remember I said to you about not putting your embellishments on when you were doing the blocks, but to wait to do it at the end. So if you've done that, you'll just have to be a bit more careful when you're putting your pieces together because it's going to be a bit lumpy. But if you've not done that and you're doing your embellishments at the end, it makes your life a bit easier as you're trying to do your seams. And then I'm just going to finger press that out like this. And then I'm going to join the holly to it. So I'm just going to go over to the other camera so I can show you that laid out. So there you can see. On our top camera, you can see that we've joined the holly to the, we've joined the Christmas pudding to the tree, and then we've joined the holly at the bottom. So let me just give that a quick press. Being careful not to melt my buttons because I'd already put mine on. And then I've already joined together the blocks which were the wreath, the gingerbread man and the baubles or the Christmas lights, whatever you want them to be. And I'm now going to join that to that. And then the other column is our candy canes, our snowmen and our present block. So I'm going back to the machine. I'm going to join all of those together. And the beauty of this is there is no matching of seams. Now it's a little bit tricky here because I've already sewn the spoon for the gingerbread man, so it's just making my fabric lift a little. Just going back to the iron. Being careful not to melt my buttons, so you can see why I told you not to put your embellishments on. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our writing on, but you can see that the writing is too big. And if we look at the one that's already been put together, let's just move that over a little bit. You can see what I meant by saying I put some of this background fabric on here and here and at the bottom. And that's the beauty of when you use different colour cream backgrounds. You can just add bits in. So if you wanted to, for example, and you wanted more of a gap between these, you could put a narrow strip of background fabric in between. So I'm just going to join 2 strips to the side. I've cut them at 2.5 inches. And then when I've done that, I'm just going to trim it up so that my top fits. So I'm going back to the machine to put these 2 on. As I say, these are cut at 2.5. Back to the iron. So it's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. We're just making all the pieces fit and then we can give it a good trim afterwards. So I'm just going to take those top bits off there, line that up. What have I done with my ruler? Oh, here we are. And again, because I've got these embellishments on, it makes it difficult to place my ruler flat. So you would be able to do yours better than this because yours would be flatter. I'm just going to tidy that up because what I'm also going to do is I'm then going to put a bottom piece of this background fabric on. So that would go on like that, so it frames it. And then I'm going to just take the top piece where the writing is and I'm going to put that across the top. So when I've joined this piece and this piece, let me move it so it's in the centre, you might be able to see it a bit clearer. So when I've joined this piece to it and this piece, you can see that that will be our finished wall hanging, and I would then just take my rotary cutter and tidy it up so I've squared it all up. So that's how you put the top together. Then you would take a piece of wadding. So I've got a piece which I've attached to some lovely Christmassy fabric. So you would measure the top of your little hanging, and then I've attached some wadding to a lovely Christmassy fabric, and then I would either pin or the 505 glue, and then I would attach the front of my hanging to it. And if I show you on the one that's completed, because you won't have embellished yours, what I've done is I've just gone round the edge 1/4 inch in here like this to hold all of my layers together. And then I've sewn through to the back all the embellishments so you can see that these all hold the quilt together, so they form part of your quilting. If you wanted to, you could do some little holly quilting in the border. You could do some little Christmas tree shapes, whatever you want, so make it yours. And then with the binding, I've used this lovely stripy binding because I think this incorporates all of the colours, and for me this is what Christmas is all about: red, gold and green. So always make sure, well, if you've got a stripy fabric for your binding, I'll just show you what I mean, that you cut your fabric, the width of the fabric, there's a piece missing there, let's turn it over, that you cut the width of the fabric going across the stripes. So if I find my ruler, I'll show you what I mean. So you would cut this at 2.5 inches to do your binding. And then you would press this wrong sides together to make your binding. And then you're going to attach it to your quilt so that you make sure that you get your stripes going across. So when it comes to hanging, you could either put a sleeve in the back, so you would need to do that before you attached it to your wadding, or you could make 2 little ties to go on here, or you can buy these little hangings that have got clips on. So the choice is yours. So I hope you've enjoyed our mystery Christmas block of the month, and you've got time now to get this finished and hung on your wall in time for Christmas. Thank you for watching. As always, have fun, and I look forward to seeing you next time here in the sewing studio.